Am I live? All right, Funky Friday. The March 10th edition is part one or volume one of the 1970s, according to your host, Mitch Hampton. I've been thinking a lot, not just about the 70s, of course, but about mainly, well, mainly is not quite the, a lot about 70s visual culture in general, but in particular 70s cinema, and I'm including in that television as well. And I've been working on a book now for the longest time. I started my book way back in 2010. I'm going to read you one of the first things I wrote. I wrote an essay on one of the greatest movies ever made by Hal Ashby or by anyone, The Last Detail. Actually, on this documentary, there's many documentaries on this Criterion edition, but among the treats that is offered to you by the great Criterion folks is an interview with Alexander Payne. Alexander Payne says he watches The Last Detail once a year. I thought I was the only one, but accordingly, film director, and he also says in this interview, every movie I make is essentially a 70s movie about Schmidt, Sideways, Nebraska, The Descendants. And as I think about it, every single one, it's absolutely right. The ethic and the spirit of Alexander Payne's films is truly 70s, and he lives up to his goal, I think, admiringly well. But let's go back in time, go back before Payne, and go back to the early 70s. And I'm going to read you this little essay I wrote. Oh boy, on The Last Detail. It's unusual to sort of be reading, so bear with me here. The Last Detail is a film that was created in 1973 and reflects a time in filmmaking art where the heavier cameras would be placed in the thick of real experience. In this case, documenting the actual locations in which the figures in the film, the naval folks there, the figures in the film would have traveled were they in real life rather than in art. We are forced to witness the not always pleasant physical institutions that were created in order to contain large numbers of people. Military bases, city train stations, bus depots, tunnels, drab apartments, public bars, public bathrooms, cheap housing, pretzel stands, skating rinks, whorehouses, brothels, it goes on and on. The greater Boston area, New York, DC, the cheapest motels, finally, with barely functional cots for beds. There's one lawn passage where the characters can't make the beds work or the cots work in the motel that plays in real time. All three of these people, the principals, are ill-clad even for winter, shivering in their military issue uniforms, which doesn't keep them warm. I say here, all of these environments are photographed in the most direct fashion possible, head on, bare minimum of light, reflecting the brutalist designs of the era. This is a utilitarian and austere presentation with just enough light needed to make everything out, but no more, with the full force of the characters' behavior, their souls, really. I say here in full relief. And so that was my first paragraph of my Last Detail essay. So I want to talk a little bit about beauty, and I'm going to show a lot of clips today, so you'll get the clips, don't worry. But it's a new concept of beauty. So actually, 70s films are Keatsian. In the Ode to a Grecian Urn, Keats says, beauty is truth, truth is beauty. That's all you need to know. That's know on earth, the last quoted line in the poem. Heard melodies are sweet, but unheard melodies are sweeter. It's a poem. Keats is basically saying that for him in this poem, truth and beauty are equivalent. And so in 70s movies, the idea is that if you present people as they actually are, because they actually believed in the 70s in something called truth and documentation. They wanted to document, you know, if you read contemporary reviews of this film, everybody goes on and on about how ugly the film is, that the people look ugly, or the environments are ugly. Well, that's true from a certain point of view, but see, the ethic of a film like The Last Detail and Hal Ashby and Michael Chapman and Robert Young is that if we remain faithful to people as they actually are, and we present them in their fullness and in their humanity, that even when environments and human beings are at their most, shall we say, ugly or pitiable or you know, at their worst, there's, shall we say, a deeper, very deep, very, you know, practically hidden underlying love and mystery, which I think is the connection with Keats. And the idea is that if we own up to who we are, what we've been, and present that, the results can be quite humorous at times, or quite invigorating. And that ethic is through all 70s movies and in all sorts of forms. And of course, no less than Last Detail. Now I'm going to play a little clip of the editor talking about some of these issues. And he talks about how there was a new kind of acting that he'd never seen. He worked a long time in movies, and a kind of a realness. And let me try to find this thing here. We'll get to the scenes from the film, but I just want to kind of. All right, let's go.
Let's make it.
Jerry Ayers, my friend who produced Cisco Pike, called me one day and asked if I'd be interested in doing a film with Hal Ashby, who had a really good reputation at the time. Enough of a reputation that I didn't want to do the film because it was a crazy one. He'd work all night and worked in his home, which meant the editor really didn't have any freedom at all. The editor would go out to get a bite to eat and Hal would recut everything. So no, I didn't want to do it. And he didn't want me either. He said, Bob, that guy's too fast. I don't want somebody that works that quickly that they don't catch everything they should. So good, we don't have him. Talk about me. So they went back east to start shooting. They shot one day. The editor that they hired put something together, edited something, I don't know what it was. But Hal saw it and blew his top. He said, I don't want that man touching my film again. Don't let anybody cut anything. So
really on Jack
it all
Nicholson.
piled up, and when finished shooting, came back, I get another call from Jerry Ayers. He's saying, please, Bob, come and look at, we've got a couple hours of master takes strung together. I want you to see it. So I go look at it, and it was terrific. Something I had never seen before. I saw actors who were no longer actors to me. They were people, and they were real people. They had major problems, and they had wants and needs, and it wasn't a movie. These dailies were not a movie. They were real.
This is that famous cot scene, sort of in the motel. They can't think.
I would look at these master shots, and one in particular where the three sailors are in a hotel room trying to decide who gets the bed and bedding down, and it just goes on and on and on. They cannot set these cheap hotel beds up, and it's hilarious. All the way through the dailies, there are scenes like that where you let the camera run and let these guys make fools out of themselves. It was great. One scene.
So that's a little bit of I'm gonna play the opening of the film now. That's Robert Young talking about making it. They made it. Let me do something here. I want to come back to this issue of what the 70s were. Because typically all the literature on 70s movies and everything that you see on the internet always trot out the same adjectives: cynical, depressing, dark, bleak, just basically those over and over again. Now, I don't, again, I am a bit of a contrarian, it's true, but my book that I've been working on for too long, if I ever am fortunate enough to get some kind of advance or a publisher, I'll finish it. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that 70s movies don't show the ugly side of humanity. I just got through saying you present people as they are and what they have done in this world, a lot of which is terrible. We all know this. But there's a deeper question. And the deeper question is, which is more life-affirming? To shy away from that and be in denial of what we have been and what we are, or not to be a witness to it because it might make us feel better, or presenting all of us warts and all as a beginning, as a kind of, and I think the latter is that's what they thought, and that the idea that you put a spotlight on something. And the other thing about 70s movies is they never tell you what to do about things. They present it, and you and the audience have to make up your own mind what you think about it. You might hate it, you might love it, you might say, I like that character is confusing. So there's two issues. There's the presentation of representation of figures, human beings, what is a self, and then there's their environments. And I'm going to play opening of the main character, a radical way of presenting. Very common in 70s movies to have a man behaving badly. Very common, but still it's or not so great.
Badusky, how do you guys see Badusky? 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 What? MAA sent me. He wants to see you right away.
This is a Jack Nicholson's gonna.
MAA to go fuck himself. Sit right away. Come on, Badusky. It's your ass if you don't. Look where your orders came through. Come on, Badusky. It's your ass. Bullshit.
So the first time you meet a character, he's in a state on that chair, and he says the first thing line out of his mouth is "fuck you" and bullshit. You're now in the 70s. That's a different. And so you spend time with these three sailors, and they go on a road trip. Now the road trip itself is a form which then vendors, King of the Roads. I mean, there's so many, but this, and also of course Sideways. Speaking of Alexander Payne, he's clearly in Sideways. He's really dealing with that kind of material. Is that a road movie by its very definition is not about solving things. It's about mystery. It's about complete uncertainty. It's about the idea that we don't know what's going on. We don't know who we are. We don't know where we're going to go, but let's just try this out and see what happens. And it's that a principle that I think I don't know if I fully agree with it, but I've been toying with is the idea of the curse of too much knowledge. You could know something too much, or you could know, and Keats deals with this, I think, in his poem. And the melody you don't hear is the better melody, metaphor. Of course, intelligence is important, education is important. I value it clearly, but you could carry it too far. And I do think that art suffers in general when artists have everything figured out in a quantified mathematical proof or scientific way. I think it really suffers. And I can make future episodes on that question, but in 70s movies, they assumed, they started assuming they didn't know anything. They assumed their own ignorance, and we're trying to figure things out. And we're more interested in the journey than the destination. And I think that that's a very powerful a very powerful. But I want to look at some of these environments because it's interesting. Let's see here. What we got here? Look at some environments. So if you have an environment like this, like these environments, you want to show them as they are. And so the thing about 70s movies is that they have a documentary aspect. So even when they're fiction films, they're like trying to document how the world looked, document how things were built, document how things were made. Why change it? Show us, let's own what, if America has created ugly spaces, show those ugly spaces or try to find what's beautiful about them. Try to find the beauty in the ugliness is what I would say. Like this extraordinary. To me, these are like paintings. I'm a little strange, admittedly, but I think these are great. Extraordinary. They help this elderly lady with her stuff. Look at this. It's so beautiful. So that kind of give you a taste of not just the last detail, but of kind of some of my ideas I want to explore in this book. I thought it would be really fun just to show, 2 or 3 clips of different kinds, disparate, and show how there's a commonality, that however different the styles, that there's certain common ethic, common sensibility, right? Common aesthetics, actually. So let's go to a female-centered film. Not Hal Ashby, but let's look at some girlfriends, Claudia Weil. And let's see here if there's something similar. Trying to find something here. What we got here? Just trying to navigate all the Claudia Weil, of course, this movie some years later, 1977. Independent film, Girlfriends. And this is a good opportunity to look at some party scenes or some.
So, man.
Susan, how you doing?
Hey, Denise, all right. How you doing?
How was the wedding?
Oh, it was great. Listen, you want to dance?
Sure.
Okay.
Why?
I'll talk to you later.
See you later.
Christopher Guest, no married.
What's your middle name?
Lesbian couple.
You live nearby.
Yeah, just a couple blocks away.
You want to go?
Actually, I was going to wait around a little bit and talk to a couple of people.
Oh, sure.
You live near here?
No,
On the east side, huh?
west side.
I live near here. Just a couple blocks away.
Oh.
You want to go?
Huh? I'm gonna show the scene where she gets up in the morning and the awkwardness of it. It's a very kind of it's kind of a
Did I do something?
Just want to go home, that's all.
Seriously?
Bye.
okay, that's a kind of a more intimate scene, and it's, you know, again, I was thinking about environments and thinking about actors. That's more of, you know, kind of, you have a party and then the people lead the party and they spend the night together. But the important thing from my perspective is there's a kind of a lack. I mean, there's a commitment to presenting these two people. They clearly have spent the night, but there's also a big mystery. Like, we don't know. We know some things. We know they like each other, but we also know it's awkward. It could be difficult. But the movie doesn't spell, at least at this moment in the film, isn't telling you. It isn't like spelling out some kind of grand lesson about anything. Not even about men and women or about love or anything. It's just presenting you a kind of a slice of life and sort of seeing where this goes. And it's that kind of I think it's very, very hard to articulate that kind of lack of an instruction manual, a lack of a you know, so yeah, instruction driver's ed manual to tell you what's going to happen. Now, of course, there are opinions in all these films. This film has opinions about how women are treated, certainly, and it has opinions about difficulties of dating, and it doesn't shy away from any of those things, but it also doesn't reduce any of those things down to like a category, you know, that's really clear. And that's a staple of 70s films. The other question too is the question of environment. So, like, if you show an environment in a 70s movie, you're kind of amused by the environment, and you want to look at the garishness of an environment. Now, we saw some very austere environments with these cities in Last Detail. What about like garish fast food environments? So there's all kinds of environments. So I'm going to show a scene. Oh, down here. Michael Ritchie was a master at social satire of America, the American middle class. Just incredible, his films. This is one film, and it's sort of, in California, he's showing these weird fast food places, environments, and the way people relate to each other. And it's interesting. All right, here we go. Every film has its own that's released. Every company has its own system of, you know, how, you know, the licensing stuff and the commentary and all that. So this is for the movie Smile, which is about a junior Miss pageant.
Well, first I do Spring is Here.
All right.
Hey, I heard about little Bob. I really am sorry.
All right, I'll go.
you doing, Drew?
I'm trying to find the scene. Any event.
Hey, I heard about little Bob. I really am sorry about that. I
See that attention to these environments, like these two sanitation workers, and again, it's
Hello.
when Michael Ritchie made Smile, he made a fake pageant for the film and led sort of people to believe it was a real pageant, which is similar to what he did when he ran Robert Redford as for governor or senator or whatever. He would sort of blur the line between reality and fiction in a very kind of stage a junior Miss pageant. But I'm sort of got
Well, first I just bring his.
This fast food place. Now, when you're making a film on location like this in California, you have a lot of choices as a filmmaker, whether you're going to show where you're shooting or not, or whether you're going to rely on sets, or whether you're going to, So here's a I'm going to show some of this.
Growling bears welcome.
All this kind of sociological.
You were having a good time up here.
This.
Pretty good.
Very good.
Good.
I'm glad you appreciate it so much.
Oh, I don't know. It's such an incredible experience for me. I mean, I've never done it before.
Santa Rosa is so beautiful. I mean, I thought the shopping mall in Anaheim was great until I saw yours. It's a credit to the vision of your business community. Thank you. Thank you.
Next.
Just showing some of this.
Hi, I'm Robin Gibson.
Oh, speak up here.
Hi, I'm Robin Gibson, Antelope Valley's Young American Miss. Thank you for inviting me to lunch.
Next.
I'm Maria Gonzalez, Selena's Young American Miss.
It's hard to because these scenes go on for so long. Here we go. Yeah.
We can get a drink.
This is Bruce Stern and Nicholas Pryor here.
How about a major wing?
Look at this.
4 to 5.
Look at this restaurant.
Hiya, pup. You want to fetch us 2 El Mejors, a couple orders of fries, and 2 vanilla shakes?
No, make it 1 vanilla shake and 1 black coffee.
I think so, Major. You sure you don't want a vanilla shake yet?
You'll be sorry. Sometimes I think it's this town that's getting to me. I mean, I lived here all my life, right? Maybe I should go someplace completely new, a big city.
Andy, the grass is always greener on the other side of the hill.
Hey, you're crazy to think about moving to a big city. Now, I had my own mortuary in L.A. for about 8 years. Hell, the place damn near killed me.
You get caught on the Hollywood freeway at 4 p.m. with a loaded purse, and you're in trouble. One for you.
I always knew you were a big weenie. What the holy heck are you doing here? Haven't you just eaten lunch?
I'm just getting a lunch for my embalmers. They don't like to go out. It takes them too long to wash their hands. Andy, you stop all this talk about leaving town. You hear me?
Come on, can we get out of here?
Andy!
Hey, we can pay for all this stuff.
That's another thing I hate about this town. Everybody's always sticking his nose in everybody else's.
So, that's a little sociological look into mid-70s California. Now, that's the kind of stuff that leads critics to say, well, the 70s movies are trying to reach the ugly truth, about who we are, conformism. And there's a lot, of course, again, there's criticism in this film. This film is, you know, it's social satire after all, and it's holding up a microscope, you know, X-ray to who we were at that time. But I maintain that there's an underlying fearlessness, an underlying, dare I say, ethic of love, and that is clueless as these men are in this film, that there's a kind of there but the grace of God go I quality, and there's kind of and always in Michael Ritchie, he gets really, and Robert Altman too, they get really merciless, but there's always a moment in every single one of their films where you kind of have to, you know, do a double take and think, oh, well, these are human beings after all, and it's there's that sense, and it's a very delicate matter. And I feel that too many people, when they talk about the 70s, emphasize, I think, too much their quote unquote bleakness or darkness, without inquiring as to why are the films dark and bleak if they are. What is the motive to it? Is it just it's never, I don't think it's ever just to kind of create intensity or just to just for excitement for its own sake. There's always a deeper sort of deeper responsible ethic at work in these films. Now, if I can get this get this to work here. I was having trouble with one of these films earlier because it was breaking down, and I was just wanting to. Where are we here? This is a TV movie, so I just want to show that it is in everything, not just movies in the theater, even TV. There's high art going on in TV movies, believe it or not, as will be seen here, I think. Where are we here? Oh, they're not letting, okay. Turn this down.
So this ex-buddy of mine from
Here we go.
Phoenix, used to live in East
Here's the same actor, Nicholas Pryor,
Take my car.
and Valley Harper.
It's not that far. It's the next.
There he is. Look, do you see him? Do you see him back there behind my car? That's him.
Look, that's just a car. It's stuck my nuts.
No, I'm telling you, that's him. That's him. That's the man. Listen.
All right, I'll be right back.
Let's leave.
No, the chance. Look, the odds are.
Okay, basically this is a road situation. It's a thriller. She's escaping a psychotic killer, Valerie Harper. That's the premise. But look how into this premise that drops this incredible acting. She picks up this man, and they're lost in bad weather. And again, it's a chance for actors and writers, directors to do something different in the beats and the acting. Very interesting. Try to get this. Nicholas Pryor is a wonderful actor. Well, they're both, of course, wonderful actors, but he's not as known as her. I'll just stop this anywhere because it's. I don't want to.
Take it easy.
Come on, do some good. Go ahead. Yeah, it's all right. Just take a look. Where are you headed?
Denver.
Denver. What's in Denver?
My son. Oh, my little boy. I've got to get there. He's in Alice.
All right. Okay, it's gonna be all right. Just take it easy. Just take it easy. Now, look, are you sure you didn't? Maybe you imagined.
Oh, no. I didn't.
Oh, yeah, a lot of
I
tension.
saw it.
Your imagination run right over.
I know, but it's not the case. I saw him kill the patrolman. I'm telling you the truth. I am absolutely.
Okay. You're telling me the truth. What do you want me to do?
I don't know. Drive me to a telephone. Could you do that? You got to get out of here. You see,
your friend's not going anywhere in all this rain. We're not going anywhere all this rain. I mean, the minute I saw it rolling in, I said to myself, James, old man, you're not going anywhere all this rain. And we might just as well sit back and relax. Where are you from?
Phoenix.
East Hampton. Long Island. That's New York.
I know.
You know? You mean you've been there?
What about Bayshore?
Bayshore. We're practically neighbors. What did you do in Bayshore?
Oh, I live there. I live there. Why are we talking about this? Do we have to talk about
We
this?
don't. You're just gonna start freaking again. Let's go back to our nice conversation. Now, you say you knew the Harrisons in Bayshore. You remember, they marvelous parties. He plays polo. Do you know anybody who plays polo anymore? For that matter, you know anybody who lives in East Hampton anymore? Except me. Everybody's gone. My house won't let me leave. Been in the family for generations. My wife, my second wife, is doing it over. She takes calico bed sheets and she glues them all over the wall with her. Instead of wallpaper, it looks incredible. She's got these incredible ideas. We've got planners going all the way up.
Now, of course, the plot kicks in, right? You got to have the thriller, and of course, he's clueless. He's denying truth that there's a psychotic killer at loose, and it's a political point that he's not listening to her and what's going on. And there's that dimension to the film, of course, but that's not all that's there. What's interesting to me is this two-character scene, these two people caught in the situation. That's its own. The film gives it its own weight, you know, in the midst of all the thriller aspect of it. And, you know, 70s movie after 70s movie, the plot or narration will be chugging along and moving along, and it'll go into these road movie detours in which an eccentric character or situation, just like that fast food place, there's all this attention to this major weenie hot dog place, and the, you know, showcasing its garishness, you know, I mean, you know, all that could have been done, you know, films, you know, it's always up to a filmmaker, their choice, whether they want to focus on something, whether they want to pull back from something, whether they want to be satirical, do they want to be conciliatory, do they want to lead the audience in a certain direction? In general, 70s movies have opinions, they have convictions about things, they're not without purpose, and they're not meaningless, but they have the interest in this sort of panoramic, giving everybody their due, everybody their say. There is a commitment to that, I maintain, at least I'm trying to. And I don't know what time it is. It's 5:30, so this has been a half hour, a little over a half hour. I'm wondering if we should do this in several parts, and I can stop here. There's more I could say about all these issues, but I hope that everybody has a really good weekend. And if you haven't seen these movies, see them, of course. You know, there's a lot more I can say, but I've been working on this book for a while, and I'm gonna come back in future episodes and discuss things about environment. And you know, of course, I guess I have to mention the Oscars on Sunday, and movies are continuing to be made, of course, and some of them have a 70s feel about them, and some of them definitely do not. I'm not going to say which is which are which, but I do hope you have a good weekend, whatever you choose to do. And thank you.